battle. This is the battle between your ears to actually stick with and follow your nutrition and your exercise plan to actually not just start getting healthy, but stay healthy. I think everybody today has at least like 500 fitness or nutrition books or weight loss books in their house and all kinds of weight loss equipment, neither of which we use. So let's talk about what it takes to stay on a plan this evening, but also as far as just how to get into your head when it comes to myths versus facts that are out there. Today we're talking about glutes versus gluten. Remember, in the word gluten-free, there's the word glutes or gluteus maximus. And the reason I'm saying that, not the best joke in the world, but it's because of the fact that there's such a misconception there. If you're trying to feel better, look better, eliminate some nutritionally related diseases, we actually don't want to just get rid of gluten. We want to be reducing grains altogether, if not eliminating them. I really try not to put any grain in my diet at all. Certainly gluten, because wheat is so common, it's used everywhere. Gluten is a problem, as well as other foods that contain gluten, but it's not the only problem. The other part to this, and it's what we're going to focus on for this particular segment, is what's in gluten-free food. So for example, here's a food, and this is from Whole Foods. So of course, because it's from Whole Foods, it must be good for you, right? We often get that wrong. Whole Foods has many things that aren't good for you, including that's where this was purchased. So yes, there's no gluten in it. It is in fact gluten-free. In fact, it says there's a big certified gluten-free stamp on the label here. But in reality, this food is actually really, really bad for you. And in fact, I'd probably rather have you eat some gluten than what's in here. So for example, there's rice flour, which is probably refined white rice flour, vegetable oil, which vegetable oils turn rancid. They're very bad for you. There's some sort of cheese powder, with the main ingredient being maltodextrin, which is a modified version of corn that's not healthy. There's also lots of different additives and preservatives. There's more oils from vegetables in there. There's sugar in here. And then a few ingredients that, again, aren't healthy. And so while we're not eating gluten, we're doing like 8 to 10 other really bad things to our bodies. So the idea is not to be gluten-free. The idea is to eat whole, natural foods and to reduce grains altogether. If you're trying to get the benefits of being gluten-free, try reducing or eliminating grains and replacing them with things like coconut flour, almond flour, and all the other great natural foods that are out there. So enough about gluten. Although I do want to add one other thing. Actually, this soap is gluten-free. So, yeah, no, it's gluten-free, but I don't think it's good for me. It doesn't taste good either. This coat hanger is gluten-free. Yeah, still not good for me, but no gluten. Actually, this candy here is gluten-free, but it doesn't mean it's a health food. In fact, my shoe is gluten-free, but not very tasty. And now I'm even shorter than I was a second ago. So remember, whole food, natural food, low grains and sugars all together if you want the benefits of what you think you're shooting for from being gluten-free. Now to finish up, getting back to winning the inside battle certainly helps to know the truth about nutrition like we just shared. But as far as the inside battle, one of the things to change is just the way you think about who you are when it comes to diet and exercise. For example, for me, I once said when my first son was reaching teenage years, I said, oh no, he's going to be a teenager. I'm not very good with teenagers. Now, as I sat back and thought about that, and in fact, I struggled with teenagers at the time to just sort of get them and identify with them, and some of them were patients of mine, and of course, now I had one in my own house. As I thought about this idea where I identified myself as being somebody who was not good with teenagers, I realized this was a really bad thought process. Why? Because I have 3 children who would all eventually be teenagers and be surrounded by many other teenagers. So what I did is I worked on replacing the thought, I'm not good with teenagers, with the thought, I'm great with teenagers. I love teenagers. I communicate well with teenagers. I get along with them. I have fun with them. I identify with them. I changed my thinking from I'm bad with teenagers to a new thought. Now that new thought wasn't instant. It didn't actually reach my cells, didn't change my brain chemistry or influence the way my brain was built whatsoever at first. But by repeating that on a regular basis, by actually downloading or uploading this new thought into my brain each and every day, I literally put it on my mirror along with several other new thoughts that I wanted to replace. And over time, that became really who I am. And so now I'm excited. I've got a 14-year-old daughter. I love her. I love her friends. I love being with teenagers. I like to work with teenagers. Teenagers excite me. I look for every chance I can to teach a room full of teenagers because I changed the way I think. You can do the same thing too. Many of you right now would say, well, I don't like eating grain-free, sugar-free. There's nothing that tastes good that's grain-free or sugar-free. I just am somebody who loves bread, or I'm a carb eater. I love pasta. I love sugar. That may be how you're currently identifying yourself, but you have to say, is that a good strategy? Is that a good mental strategy for the future? So why don't we replace that with, I love healthier foods. I love cooking with coconut flour and almond flour and creating all these delicious desserts. I love certain types of stevia that have helped to sweeten my foods so that I can eliminate sugar. I love working out. I love the exhilaration. I identify with the exhilaration afterwards, the feeling of having accomplished something great, the feeling of having made myself better, of doing something constructive. I identify with the after feeling, not the before feeling of, oh no, I have to exercise. Over time, you can literally change the way you think about nutrition, the way you think about exercise, and actually be one of those people that loves eating well and loves to work out. I know it may sound impossible to you today, but I've seen this work with thousands and thousands of people. Want to continue to change the way you're thinking and the way you act when it comes to your lifestyle in between your ears? Let me help you win this inside battle. You can get the free book by just going to the actual link that's on this particular Facebook Live. Bless you, and remember who you are.